Hey everybody, my name's Justin and welcome back to another episode of the Alter Bridge universe. Today's record marks the end of the first era of the Alter Bridge universe, since it's the final record released before the founding of Alter Bridge. That album is of course Weathered, Creed's third release before breaking up, and the band's only album not featuring Brian Marshall on bass guitar. Admittedly, my opinion of Creed started out pretty low, but then improved immensely with their second album, so let's find out if this record can keep up the pace. Weathered was released in 2001, shortly after the 9/11 attacks in the USA. Scott Stapp illustrated the album as a fusion of two records, one half featuring some of the band's heaviest tracks, and the other half featuring mellow, introspective ballads. In some ways, the album is an extreme departure from Creed's typical approach, but at the same time, many of its ideas are recycled and a little too familiar. Scott's description of this album having two parts couldn't be more accurate, but my perception is that this is a major flaw, rather than something commendable. The first half differs drastically from the second, both musically and thematically. Tracks 1, 2, and 4, Bullets, Freedom Fighter, and Signs, are preachy nu metal songs, whereas the back half parade of My Sacrifice, Stand Here With Me, Hide, Don't Stop Dancing, and Lullaby are all mellow ballads lacking substantial variety. 3 of the songs on Weathered are in 6/8, which mixes things up a bit, but those songs are the opening and closing tracks, so rather than offering diversity throughout the album, they just act as bookends. And to top it all off, the remaining 8 tracks are all the same tempo again. At least this time there's a range of 20 BPM between the faster and slower songs, but still, the average tempo of these tracks is once again around 75 BPM, just like on My Own Prison and Human Clay. How do you write 3 albums worth of songs and not notice that they all have the same pulse? It's freaking baffling. I know that I'm fixating on something many people would consider otherwise inconsequential, but I think it speaks volumes to my overall point. For the most part, this record is just a cut and paste of Creed's previous albums, rather than venturing outside their comfort zone. Though the album's rare moments of experimentation are respectable and creative in theory, in execution they're odd and lacking context. The instrumentals are fine, but nothing jumped out at me as unique or groundbreaking. Scott Stapp's bastardized pronunciation is a constant annoyance, and his insistence to over-exaggerate his vocals causes a lot of rhythmic and pitch discrepancies. Thankfully, his lyrics are once again well crafted, but the delivery of said lyrics is underwhelming and repetitive, and an album can't be carried on words alone. By the end of the record, the songs were starting to blend together, and I was getting bored. So many low energy songs played back to back made it feel like the album was just dying. As the last notes of Lullaby rang out, I wondered if that was actually the end of the record, because it just seemed to decay into silence rather than feel like a conclusion. I genuinely wondered if there was just a song missing that I didn't have added to the playlist. Albums don't always need to have a big, epic conclusion, but they need some kind of build, climax, and then release, like any good story. Instead, Weathered starts with moderately high energy and then gradually fades into oblivion for over half an hour. It was a soul-sucking experience, like when you play Settlers of Catan and you know that you've lost even before you put down your first piece. Human Clay was a massive improvement, but Weathered was a massive step back. Only 1 or 2 songs were distinct enough to warrant future listens, but even then, I just can't see myself obsessing or really wanting to listen to any of these tracks, other than for the sake of just revisiting Alter Bridge's roots. For a final score, I'm giving Weathered by Creed a 6.6 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on Weathered in the comments below. Tomorrow marks the beginning of a new period in this series, where worlds collide and the legend of Alter Bridge is born. Tune in tomorrow at 9 AM Central Time to see my review of their debut record, One Day Remains. And in the meantime, check out the other reviews in this series here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.